for the opportunity. I'm very much pleased to present the learnings whatever I got throughout my career. So let us discuss only particular about the mechatronics in automotive industry. That is the topic we are going to discuss today. So let's go to the presentation. Students and everyone, today from this topic you can expect the learnings of in the four different major categories. One is that the overview of automobile plant I will try to explain. Then the applications of electronics components in the shop floor as well as the usage in the vehicle and the major manufacturers in the market who are all making the electronic components and mechatronic components. So those details also we will touch upon. So I have given an image of one particular automobile plant. It's a truck manufacturing plant. The plant delivers roughly 80,000 trucks per year and with a 3,500 manpower with a layout area of 220 acres. So why I am specifying this particular detail means students or anyone, if you are going any manufacturing industry, can be automobile plant, it can be a mobile manufacturing plant or a tire industry, whatever it can be. So minimum you should try to collect these three inputs and you should able to remember and it will give you the value. So the layout area, the manpower details, and the what is the product being manufactured, what is the quantum of the product that is getting manufactured, that is very important, and you should collect this input. So this is being a automobile plant. The image, the block which I have highlighted is the final assembly line. So here the final assembly of trucks will be manufactured. I have given an image also. So many of you might be referred these things in the YouTube also. You can just put any search the video. The many of the assembly process you can learn there. So the next block which I have highlighted is a transmission line. Transmission means engine and the gearbox assembly line is called as transmission line in automobile industry, and it is supplied through the final assembly line through automated conveyors and all these stuffs. Then the frame assembly line and axle shops and press shop. Press shop in the sense that whatever the car body is there, no, that the sheet metal pressing with the usage of dies and process will be done with the required shapes and forms will be developed in that particular shop. Then the pressed components is welded and it is sent to the paint shop, and the paint shop painted cabins is given back to the final assembly line, and the output is tested as a vehicle testing, as part of vehicle testing, and it is moved to the final sales yard or to the customer end, like that. So if you see the layout, the material flow is another important point when we are visiting a plant, or if you got the chance to visit any industrial visit IV also, you should try to look out the material flow of the industry also. That is also very much it will be very interesting, and it is very much needed also. Okay, without wasting further time, so let us go to the applications whatever being used inside the shop floor. So I have let me play a video of the body shop. So you here you can see. Are you getting the video sound also, madam?
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
So here you can see the series of build cabins getting welded through the automated robots. Being I think that students are from mechanical background, they very well know about the resistance spot welding manufacturing technology. They might have already read. So here you can see the conveyor is there, and the bodies are placed in the welding fixtures, we can call it as, and there are robots are available, and welding guns. This is called welding guns is also available. Okay, let's go to the detail. So first topic is conveyors. So I have given an image of different conveying systems. The top two are roller conveyors, and the bottom one you can see the skid conveyor and the slat conveyor, and the n number of different conveyors are available in industry for the usage. So any conveying system, what is the required is the drive. So drive all the conveyors are driven by the electric motors. So basically, induction motor is popularly used in the conveying system in the industry, and the motors will be controlled through the drives, motor drive we call it as. So specifically, VFD drives are being used. So the what is the purpose of VFD drive is to control the motor performance. The control in the sense it will control the acceleration, deceleration of the motor to match the conveyor speed and as well as the operator safety. So it cannot be immediately sudden jerk or something impact. It will not. It should not be there. So it should be smooth enough so that the operator also will feel safety during the work activity. So what it will be there if you take the VFD drive. VFD means variable frequency drive. For the induction motors, it will be controlling the frequency of the motor. Similarly, for the other motors also, different varieties of VFD drives are available. Voltage control drive, current control drives, like that. There are in different types also available in the industry. So the benefits is apart from the acceleration, deceleration on the control point, the energy savings also made possible through the electric drives. And this is purely a electronic component. It is controlled through various drives, DC links, and inverter. Through that only the VFD drive is made. Next one is the encoder. So the purpose of the encoder is to measure the rotary or linear output. What is that being done? Being the conveyor, so conveyor should get control, right? It has to travel from X distance to Y distance. It has to from 0 to 4 meter it has to travel, or 0 to 400 meter it has to travel. How the system will know whether it has traveled or not? So the encoder is a device to close that feedback loop. So if you take the types of encoder, there are multiple types, incremental and absolute, like that. There are various types are there. So it will help the system to get the feedback how much of the conveyor has traveled or not. So I think encoder must be in your syllabus also. If not, just try to get notes upon that. The next one is limit switch. Limit switch is a electromechanical actuator. So the purpose of the limit switch is if the component has passed or over traveled, or the count, getting the count of component also, it used in the conveying system. The limit switch is there in your day-to-day application in your home appliance. The fridge also will have, when you open the door, the light will automatically get open. Simply as limit switch is placed in the fridge. If you open the door, the signal is given to the system, and the light bulb is glowing. So similar way, the limit switch also being utilized as needed in the conveyor system. The next one is a tower lamp. Tower lamp, the purpose is whether the system as a conveying system, whether it is working properly or not. It is similar to your traffic light system. There will be a red, yellow, green system will be there. If it is green, everything going fine. There is no issues. If it is yellow, there is a alert. Some attention is required by the supervisor or the operator. That is the information given by the system. And the red means the conveyor has stopped. Some breakdown has occurred. So these are all the basic things. When you go to any immediately any shop floor, also you can see on top of any control panel, on top of any conveying system or automated system, these things will be there if you observe it. So, we'll go next about the body shop. So why, the reason why I choose the body shop, I've explained so many shops in the first slide, from the final assembly line, paint shop, brush shop, engine shop, like that. I have mentioned so many shops. But for our discussion, for the today's discussion, I have taken only the body shop related facilities and equipments alone I have taken. The reason being, one is that my experience lies in the body shop, and I don't want to confuse much about discussing about other shops also. So the left side image, you see it is a operator is standing and he is holding a weld gun and he is doing on a welding activity. Similar way, in the right side image, you can see the robots and it is doing the welding activity. Both are the same process. Only the difference is the operator is replaced by the robots. Using the robots also, there are multiple advantages also there. We will discuss later. So the first one is the fixture. So we are going to discuss about one by one component. Let me show it. This is called a fixture. Then spot weld gun, which operator is handling the. This is called a spot weld gun. Through this only the welding operation will take place. Through the spot weld gun, you will have a weld controller. So weld controller will control the what is the current or time needed for the completing the welding. It will take care of the complete parameter section will be taken care by the controllers. So let us discuss about the fixtures. As you know, the fixtures are the work holding devices to form the specified body shape for the assembly. So there are three different types I have shown here. One is that manual fixture. The manual fixture, you can see there is a component is fixed in the fixture, and the clamps are locked to just to form a geometry or arrest the degree of freedom. So in the next fixture, you see every clamps are connected to a pneumatic cylinder. So the purpose of converting from manual to pneumatic cylinder is to gain the time advantage. Just assume that there is a fixture which is having a 10 different clamps, and the operator is clamping one by one. Clamping and declamping itself, it will take some 150 to 200 seconds. So in automotive industry, the industry is having a takt time of roughly 1 minute or 2 minutes only for one work job. So in that cases, we cannot put all these non-value added activities and all to the operator of work. So to gain time advantage, the pneumatic cylinders are introduced for clamping and deep clamping activity. And the next third category is electro-pneumatic fixtures. Electro-pneumatic fixtures means in addition to pneumatic cylinders, there are electronic components also introduced, like the sensors, part present sensors. The part present sensors are is loaded onto the fixture or not. That will be identified by the sensors. Sorry. The sensors are there. There are two different types of sensors mainly used in the automotive industry. One is the proximity sensor and the photoelectric sensors. So mostly these things also will be in your syllabus. So next.
Muted. Madam, muted.
நாகமாணிக்கம் சார்.
சொல்லுங்க மேடம், கேக்குதுங்களா?
இல்ல நடுவுல மியூட் ஆயிடுச்சு சார். அதனால.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, sir.
Sorry, I didn't notice that. The first one is the sensors. The purpose of the sensor is to identify the component is available in the fixture or not, whether the operator has loaded the component or not. Because one particular assembly, maybe 10 or 12 parts has to be assembled, means there is case that operator might forget to load the component. So in that case, the signals, whether the part is loaded or not, will be the signals will be received through the sensors. The sensors are proximity sensors in nature for the weld shop, and other cases they are using the photoelectric sensors also. So the signal will be given to the controlling system, and based on that, further activity will be done. So the next part is the cylinders, which is having a reed switch. You can see the cylinder with two sensors placed. One is at both the ends. So the purpose is in whether the clamp is completely closed or not. That feedback also will be taken. The RAM will have a magnetic part, and when it crosses the sensor area, due to the magnetic field, the signals will be taken whether the required position, open or close, is achieved or not. Uh, the reason is those things has to be very much accurate. If the clamp is not done, clamping is not done properly, it will affect your assembly output. The product what you are intending to do, it will not be possible to make. So it will lead to rework, it will lead to rejection, and it all accumulate to the cost component of the manufacturing plant. So these things and all being utilized very regularly in the shop floor now. Third one is the control box. The control box is sometimes it called as operator box also. It will have a push button arrangement and immediate feedback sense, lights, alert system or counter. All these things will be there. The electro-pneumatic fixtures are controlled through the operator box. Operator box in turn will connect to the PLC. Every fixtures will have a PLC system. The PLC details of the PLC system we will discuss in further slides. Just keep in mind that the control box, all the fixture operations, the sequence of operation is controlled through the PLC. Okay. So now let us go to the safety sensors. So being in the industry, so first and foremost requirement is to ensure the safety of the personnel who is working inside the plant or shop floor. So that is very much needed. So let me give you one. So now I have given a picture. There is a yellow color post, or we will say we will call it as a post only. It's a fixed part of fixture. So just assume the operator is standing near the post, and after completing the post will be declamping to the its home position. So if the operator is not identifying or is not alert or vigilant, then what will happen? There will be a fatal accident may occur. So how this is being controlled, these kind of scenarios, this is a safety issue. So it's controlled through the scanners. So area scanners we call. So I have just highlighted here. There are, you can see here one scanner is placed and another scanner is placed near the another side of the clamp. This is how the scanners will look like. So it is next slide. Yeah. So there is a working zone, automated robotic zone is there. If the operator enters the zone, then the system will stop working immediately. So it will not go to the next step, because the operator may endanger himself if he moves further within the working zone of the robot. So the area scanners work in the specified area. You can control the area. There are systems now available. You can just connect to the software in the laptop, and you can irregular shapes also. It need not be a rectangular. The irregular shapes also can be controlled by the area scanner. The previous example I have given, no, it is a irregular shape. It is not a pure rectangular kind of a thing. And you can fix the zones also. The red one are the safety zone, and the yellow ones are the alert zone. Like that also the programming can be done. And how the working principle of area scanners, you can Google it. So it is similar to the 3D profilometers only. So I get to know about more about the area scanners in future. Then the other most common usage is the light curtains. The light curtains, if you see, it is also similar application only. It will enter the it will prevent the operator entering to the zone other than the required purposes. So there will be a one transmitter is will be there, and another receiver will be there. The transmitter will be sending the pulses of infrared light to the receiver end. If any breakage or any hindrance to that particular object, then the working system will get stopped. The alert will be given to the system. And the major manufacturers in the industry for the sensors or the whatever the components so far we have discussed, no, they are most common or popular are SICK, Make, Baloof, P&F, Pepper Works, and IFM, Omron, Turk, Keynes. They are all global players, and if you got any opportunity in future to visit their premises or factory, please proceed, utilize it. And any opportunities in future also for the businesses or job also, please just refer all these things. So the next one is the spot weld gun. So we will just I'll play a video. So here the operator is manually welding the one assembly, sheet metal assembly. It is a part of a dashboard of a car. So the operator is taking a weld gun and he is rotating the fixture by himself and he is taking the weld. It's a real-time running video and you can see within a second he is able to complete one or two welds. So the specific fixture is a rotary type fixture. You can see the pneumatic cylinders connected with the clamps, and you can see the operator box also connected to the fixture. It is for the controlling of the clamps for clamp and declamp. After completing assembly, operator is just taking the component and is completing the activity. So we are seeing that with for just a few seconds, within part of seconds of process, there are multiple factors needs to be ensured to control the weld quality. When I say weld quality, you might have read in this resistance part welding for any two different sheet, different sheets will be joined for the joining. There will be two electrodes will be squeezed the electrodes will be squeezing the sheet metals. Through the electrodes, the current will be passed. Due to the resistance, the local heat will be generated. Local heat will be generated in the component, and the local material will get burned, and due to the force it will join and the weld quality is ensured. So for this arrangement, there are multiple factors, mainly these four factors: your squeeze time, weld current, and hold time. These parameters needs to be controlled. So I'm just taking some of your basics also in the resistance part welding field. So if you see here, the bottom graph is for current versus the time is given here. The first one is squeeze time. In the squeeze time, it will just the electrodes will be squeezing the seats, just pressing the seats. Here there will not be any current is applied. When the weld time starts, that zone you can see the current is gone up. Then again the forge time the current will be withdrawn, but the electrodes will be pressing again the sheets just to ensure the molten metal is connected properly. So these particular process parameters are controlled through the weld controller. Okay, so the weld controller, if you see, I have just taken a cross section of the weld controller. Here you can see the step down transformer. The main one is the main PCB, and next one is you can see the step down transformer. So the reason for the step down transformer is you should convert the you should reduce the voltage and increase the current amperage. The current amperage only, if the higher the amperage, the more heat will be generated. H is equal to I square RT. So okay, the resistance is the you cannot change. It's a material property of the component, and the time you have to play within a second. You have to control the time. Then the next one is the only available is the option is the current only. The current should be in roughly in the welding applications, whatever I have shown the video, no? In that area, roughly it might be 8,000 ampere to 10,000 amperes it will be supplied. Again, these current applications are all controlled through resistors, and there are sensors in the sense the current transformers to measure the alternating current value, it will be there. And SCR systems, now SCRs are replaced through thyristors to manage the electric efficiency, energy efficiency. The SCR is a switching application, when to pass, when to on, all these things are controlled in very milliseconds level. When I have shown the previous slide, the squeeze time I have mentioned. I forgot to tell you that generally the squeeze time is 5 cycles. The weld time will be roughly 15 cycles will be there. When I say cycles, it is depending on the 1 by your frequency. It means in India it's a 50 hertz, right? So 1 second is splitted into 50 cycles. So in the 50 cycles, only 5 cycles is squeeze time. Then next 15 cycles only the weld time. like that it will be programmed. That it is that much very lesser value. We even cannot see all these things. It is programmed and it is benchmarked, and enough study is done to get the weld quality like this. And you will have a teaching pendant also. In the video you could have seen there is a gun, and the pendant is attached to the controller. Here you can program the what is the current value you should supply, what is the time it should supply. All these things can be programmed in the use of teaching method. It's all similar to your mobile. Your mobile is the greatest electronic device, and only the smallest portion of the mobile functions only is used in the industry, but the varieties and applications are wide. It is very much greater in the real world. So the next equipment I would like to explain it to you is the control panel. So control panel is I have so far I have shown sensors, fixtures, clamps, cylinders, all these things. But who controls the where we are doing the sequencing and programming of all these things? And these things will be there inside the control panel only. Yeah, the control panel is only will control everything. So what are the things will be there? I have shown the first one is HMI. HMI is a human machine interface. It is like similar to your tab. It will be attached to the control panel, you can see here. So here you can do the programming and all other activities, inputs and all these things you can give it here. So what are other components? Circuit breaker is there. Will be there. Yes, SMPS, the main power source. Whatever in industry, the control panels maybe it might be 12 volt or 24 volt SMPS systems available in the real world. Then the transformer will be there. So though we are having 12 volt, 24 volt, few components is needed only 5 volt or 10 volt only for the application. So these are all stepped down and it is given to the inputs and relays. The PLC is the main component of the control panel. It is like your computer. It will be having the processing unit. PLC is a programmable logical controller. Okay, it's an industrial PC. That's what smallest means. It is an industrial PC. The industrial PC, the PLC will have a input and output ports and communication ports. The inputs are like your sensors and scanners, all these things. It get the feedback from the field and it is given to the PLC. Based on the input, certain outputs will be given through the relays. So you can see the smaller relays for controlling the balls or like that, and the bigger relays for controlling the motors and other big electrical components. So let us see the PLC. This is a one major image of the small image of the industrial PLC. It's a Siemens make. So the PLC controls the complete activity of the shop floor. It will control the motors, it will control the pump, it will control the push button, it will take the input from a sensor, and it will give the alert or indication lights through the to the system or the operator. So what will be there in the PLC? So PLC, to work with the PLC, it should get the power supply, and it is having an input card and output card. You can see here there are two input cards are available, and similarly output device is also available. And inside the PLC, you will have a memory and CPU and the communication ports. All these things will be there. It is very similar to computer or mobile phone, whatever I can call. The another next topic is PLC. So PLC programming. We had PLCs. Hardware is a PLC, and within the PLC there is a software. These softwares are how the softwares are written. There are mainly these five languages are only available: ladder diagram and sequential function charts and FBD function block diagram unstructured text. If you see, majority of the our industrial application currently is developed through the ladder logic only, but slowly it will migrated towards structured text in future in down the 5 to 10 years time. But currently the ladder diagram is only majorly being popularly used now. So The next one is how to select a PLC. PLC, there are n number of different manufacturers are available in the market. All are global players, whatever the names I have given, right? Starting from Siemens, Omron, or Mitsubishi, Allen Bradley, or Schneider. So these things and all, I myself used Siemens, Allen Bradley, and Mitsubishi and all. I myself used for my application, and other global players also available in this market. So each is selected based on the merit and demerits and the cost component. So apart from this, the basic selection criteria is the system requirement, where you are going to use this PLC or for what application, for machining application, assembly application. So what is the system requirement that you should you should be clear when selecting the PLC. Then the second one is environmental requirements. And I say environmental requirements, your shop floor area, whether it is in the assembly shop with air conditioning atmosphere, or your press shop, or your weld shop. What is the temperature? What is it for used in a foundry shop? What is the humidity? All these things has to be specifically noted when you are selecting the PLC, and the input and output level. So how many sensors you are going to connect, how many relays you are going to collect. When I say inputs and IOs, we call it as IOs, how many number of tags you are going to utilize in the PLC. Then the next one is the speed of CPU. When you are selecting the mobile or computer, the processor speed. Similarly, CPU also has this processor speed. So that has to be noted down. Then the communication protocols. Communication protocols means one PLC to the other third party system or other PLC, how it will be communicating. So the communication through Ethernet, Profinet, Profibus, all these things also taken into consideration when you are selecting a PLC. So now next topic, we will go to the applications in the vehicle. So vehicle, many of you might be well versed or I think experienced the use of vehicle. That is the reason I have taken the shop floor content initially, then the vehicle content. Hello. So I'll like to explain two minimum these things. So there are multiple electronic components are available in the vehicle or car. So I'll like to explain only two things. One is the transmission control. Transmission means engine related control system, and the engine control unit. That is very important one. So these two things I would like to give us some brief about it. Engine per se, you know how the engine is working, the four-stroke, two-stroke engine, four-cylinder, six-cylinder, all these things you might have read in the automobile technology chapter. So in particularly nowadays the electronic components to control the engine performance are very increasing very rapidly. Now recently the emission norms also plays a bigger role. To control the emission norms also, we need to add more and more electronic components. So the first one is the intake throttle valve. Intake throttle valve is a butterfly valve. How this valve is controlled through the drive motor. It's a drive motor is up again controlled through the solenoid valve, and there will be a feedback sensor placed within the throttle valve itself. So opening and closing of the valve is controlled through the closed feedback system, and based on that your amount of air supplied to the engine is controlled. Similarly, exhaust brake also similar way, there will be a butterfly valve and the drive motor and feedback sensor, and it is also again a closed feedback system. Any area you take, there the electronic systems are mainly used for the closed feedback system. In mechanical, just in the mechanical equipments itself, you will not be having that liberty of having the closed feedback. Then the HC dosing system, it is for the BS6 recently added component. Again, there are multiple valve, solenoid valve is there, and the NOx sensor and the temperature sensors. Temperature sensor to measure the exhaust temperature, and the NOx sensor to measure the amount of emission level within the exhaust gas is there. What is that value? All these things is measured, and based on that, the ECU, engine control unit, the engine control unit is the main processor for all the electronic devices connected. How in shop floor I have explained about PLC. Similar way, the ECU is a kind of a PLC or PC. I can say it is controlling all the sensor connected in the vehicle. So if you take ECU, again Continental, Bosch, Denso, Mitsubishi, Hitachi are the major manufacturers of the ECU. This is very critical component. Even today, are many issues in getting the semiconductors. If semiconductors are not there, then ECU cannot be manufactured. If ECU is not there, automobile industry will come to halt. So it is a recent issues globally is every manufacturer is experiencing currently. So I've given one flow chart or diagram, representative diagram. So there is a ECU. It collects the signal from the input sensors. Input sensors, I've just listed on crank speed sensor. Crank speed and cam speed sensors are basically a Hall effect sensors. Then there is a coolant temperature sensor, bimetallic sensors, and oil pressure and the temperature, measuring the coolant oil level and temperature, and the within the common rail system what is the pressure is there. All these things, EGR, exhaust gas recirculation, you might have read in the automobile technology. So what is that feedback from the EGR, temperature and pressure, all these things will be measured. And ITV position sensor we have seen in the previous slide. And similarly, accelerator pedal and vehicle speed sensor, all these inputs is given taken by the ECU based on the multiple scenarios where the outputs of the outputs will be generated. Injector is a basic component. So when the fuel has to be given to the cylinder and what sequence it has to give, all these things are programmed and it is controlled based on the application. If you are if you are riding the vehicle in the normal terrain, what is the injecting this one will there, timings should be there. If you are moving the vehicle on the hill, what is that should be there. All these things are controlled through the ECU only. So that's it from my side today. If you have any queries regarding this, we can have a discussion now. So,
Sir, you said that after 10 years, ladder diagram and the functional block diagram is going to be replaced with structured text. Is that any special programming language for using that structured text, sir?
madam, the programming language will be of the same. The individual manufacturers, PLC manufacturers, I have shown. No? I will go back to this particular slide.
Okay, sir.
Language is developed by the same vendor only. The hardware manufacturer will have a licensing software, programming software. So
Okay.
Siemens will have a different this one, and all these things are basic programming languages will be same. Machine language will be there, but they are customized based on their patent. That's all.
Okay, sir.
And just to give you additional information that we cannot use one software to the another hardware. If you are using Siemens PLC, then you have to use a Siemens licensing software
Program.
only.
Yes,
Yeah,
ladder
program.
diagrams.
Yes.
Students, those who have any doubts and queries, you are informed to ask your and clear your doubts here.
So any students, you can freely interact with the chief guest who has a wonderful experience. Thank you very much, sir, for giving your valuable time and covering the various topics, starting from resistance part building, work holding devices, part presence sensors, control box, and safety sensors, and engine control unit, which mostly covers the syllabus topics, and giving the real life examples. Thank you very much, sir. It is really quite useful to our students.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. It's a pleasure to share the learnings and experience whatever we have learned. Real thanks to Madam and HOD and my colleague Mr. Bovaraghan who arranged the session. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Professor, sir, one more chief guest is inside the meeting, sir. Bovaraghan.
Okay, madam.
Bovaraghan, sir. Welcome, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam. Actually, more than the theories, we just wanted to share our industry experience with the students. So that is the basic, which might be some, well, the details might be available with the students in the public domains, but we just thought that what is actually happening inside in the industries, especially in automotive industries, where he has worked exhaustively on all these. I think Nagamaligam has got a hands-on experience in most of the things which he has presented for the students today. Hope they will take it forward for their future career. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir. It's very useful to students. It's completely cover our syllabus, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bovaraghan, for your assistance and help to the presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. We'll take a leave. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful lecture.
மேடம் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாங்களா?
க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிடலாமா சார்?
ஓகே மேடம்.
ஓகே சார். தேங்க்யூ சார்.
தேங்க்யூ மேடம். தேங்க்யூ.